I dropped off the face of YouTube 2 years ago. Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Laura. I am the creator of Suitcase Coder, which is a personal brand that I created back in 2018 when I decided to drop everything and take a risk on joining a coding bootcamp. And the purpose of one of the many purposes of this YouTube channel was to share my journey from joining a coding bootcamp to becoming a digital nomad. Now, I can tell you right now, I joined a coding bootcamp in 2018. I graduated in 2019, and it is the start of 2025, and I have yet to land a job as a software developer. However, I feel like it's all part of the journey, and I'm still very much in the learn to code space, and I want to talk about it. So hi. Before I just hopped back onto YouTube and started making these videos, I felt like I needed to, more so for my own sake, talk about where I've been for the past 2 years, because even though I'm not where I thought I would be as a software developer, I think it's still a very important part of the journey. So I decided to make this video unscripted, which is why I'm rambling. It'll probably be wildly unedited, including that part. I just figured the best thing I could do is pull out a camera, hit record, and just kind of address for my own sake where I've been, why I stopped posting, and what I want to do with this channel going forward. Why did I completely stop making YouTube videos? There's really only one reason. Back in, I think 2022, I accepted a job as a coding bootcamp instructor at a coding bootcamp. And a couple weeks into working there, a couple months, I don't remember, working there, I got approached by the coding bootcamp to start using my videos for their marketing needs. And it kind of sounds like a dream for any YouTuber, right? For some reason, I had this just gut feeling to say no. It was also unpaid, which it's not all about the money, but also no. That's really the reason why I completely dropped off, was because I wanted to keep my personal brand separate from my job, but having my personal brand be about coding bootcamps and about learning to code. And my job being a coding bootcamp instructor, it felt very difficult to make videos and not mesh the two. I decided to stop, and instead, because I like making content and because I enjoy creating content that helps people, especially in sharing my journey as a coding bootcamp student and instructor, I decided to hop onto TikTok and start making shorter videos, half of them for fun, half of them to continue sharing this journey, thinking that nobody would see my TikTok. And I'm not saying I have a ton of followers, but I did gain a little bit of following, which meant that there were people out there that were interested in coding bootcamps, in joining coding bootcamps or coding bootcamp graduates who were looking for other people's stories to see if it was similar or not similar. Also, I got a lot of comments around, I want to learn how to code, but I don't know where to start. Are coding bootcamps worth it? You graduated, what were your results what were your results like? Did you get a job? So it made me a part of the Learn to Code community, and I have really enjoyed making TikToks. I am excited to start making content again, but everything's changed. It's been 2 years, and that's the reason why I wanted to make this video as unscripted as it is, because I felt for my own sake that I wanted to kind of address like why I stopped making videos, and then what's stopping me, or what has been stopping me from creating more videos. Because to be completely honest with you, I had no idea where to pick up and start. Main reason is because I felt like an imposter. I graduated from a coding bootcamp, freelanced here and there, and then went straight into teaching at different coding bootcamps. And then I decided to unexpectedly leave my job as a coding bootcamp instructor because I couldn't take it anymore. I was burnt out. I was really frustrated with kind of the results that the students were facing from the coding bootcamp and how much it aligned with my own journey, and how frustrating it is to have risked a lot and put so much money and time into this coding bootcamp that promised so much and then resulted in not as much as what was promised. And that was very frustrating, both as a coding bootcamp graduate myself, but also to see my students go through as a coding bootcamp instructor. So in 2023, I decided to unexpectedly leave that job. I'd by that point already been very unhappy, very burnt out. I didn't want to do it anymore. So I woke up on a Wednesday morning and decided that that was the day I was going to quit my job with nothing in sight. I knew I had Suitcase Coder. I knew I wanted to do more with Suitcase Coder and this YouTube channel and just content creation in general. I didn't know what that was going to look like. But yeah, I quit right then and there. One would think that after leaving that job, that one job that was kind of keeping me and preventing me from making YouTube videos, that I would jump right back onto the boat of YouTube and start making videos again. But then I realized that certain things kind of got in my way. One, a big one, was the fear that in creating this content right after quitting, and because let's be real, I wanted to make content about the realities of coding boot camps, especially because that's what was taking up my brain space so much at the time. But I felt still kind of uneasy making videos about a coding boot camp that I had just quit, because that coding boot camp, it looked bad, and I didn't want to start drama, and it's not what the purpose of those videos were, but I didn't want it to be perceived that way. So that was one main reason why I didn't just jump right back into YouTube after quitting, because they still existed and I just didn't want any trouble. Two is I realized real quick that I had imposter syndrome, but I also kind of validated not my imposter syndrome, but the fact that I started becoming very realistic with my coding skills, or my skills as a software developer, 4 or 5 years after having graduated a coding bootcamp. Because I graduated from a coding bootcamp, and sure, I freelanced here and there, as I mentioned. I taught at coding bootcamp, so I was always around code. I was always around coding. I was making these tutorials. I was working on side projects whenever I could, but I never landed that software developer job. And if anybody has gone through the process of applying to jobs, especially as a software developer, especially as a coding bootcamp graduate, you know, or you might know, how frustrating it is to feel like you're starting from scratch, to apply. I feel like I was applying to, at one point, 50 jobs a week, if not more. It's so taxing to have to keep up with continuing learning the code, continue upskilling, keep up your projects, prove yourself as a developer, actually applying to jobs, which for whatever reason, they take so long to apply to, and then going through the stress of real technical interviews, which you didn't really know what you were gonna get, and so you just kind of had to study for everything. And so there's a lot to take on, and then on top of everything, there's always a financial burden of you just emptied your savings account to join a coding bootcamp in hopes of a job. You didn't get it, and so now you're jobless, graduated a coding bootcamp, and in the search for a job. So that financial burden at the end mixed with everything else, it's very, very taxing. So if you're going through that, I am sorry, I apologize, because I've been through there too many times. It really did cause some of the imposter syndrome, but also kind of validated the fact that the reason why I had imposter syndrome is because I hadn't really I never landed that software development job. Maybe I never needed to, but it was always kind of the idea that once I get a job as a software developer, I can say that I am a software developer. That never happened, even to this day. Never happened. So I was hesitant to continue making YouTube videos about my journey from joining a coding bootcamp to becoming a digital nomad, because from here to here, I kind of went like this. And I haven't made it to become a full-time digital nomad as a remote developer, which was always the number one goal. It was hard to sit down and make videos again when I wasn't there. But all that being said, it's the start of 2025, and I think the more I thought about it, accepting the fact that I never landed that job as a software developer, I haven't coded in a while, if I'm being honest, accepting that kind of allows me, and making this video for some reason in my brain, allows me to start creating content again, because having gone through that, it's a very real part of the journey, and it's something worth sharing. And the reason, again, one of many reasons why I have this YouTube channel is to share that journey, which kind of brings me to my next part of this video, which is what I'm looking forward to. How am I still involved in the journey from like learning to code to where I'm at now? What am I up to? And what kind of videos I'm going to make in 2025, because I am really excited. So I've definitely taken all of those frustrations of my own journey and taking kind of the things that I saw in my journey as a student, as an instructor, as a graduate, and I am applying it to this startup that I'm building in hopes of making it better. Even though I'm not necessarily coding every single day anymore, I'm very much still involved in the Learn to Code journey, in the Learn to Code community, both locally and virtually. I want to continue being a part of it. I think there's a huge shift happening in the learn to code space. Thing I didn't mention yet is the fact that one of the reasons why I feel comfortable even making this video and starting to make content again is because the coding bootcamp that I worked at shut down months after I quit. It was very sad to see happen, but also not unexpected. And I don't know how much more I'm going to talk about that, but it just kind of validated the fact that the times are changing when it comes to learning to code and becoming a software developer. And coding bootcamps, although I do think they were great and wonderful back in 2012 through 2016, 17, maybe even around the time that I joined 2018, I definitely think that we're gonna see a shift. And of course, here's where I talk about the elephant in the room. AI is changing everything. That's something very much to be aware of. But all that to say is I am still very much in the learn to code space. I enjoy making content. I still want to help people. I want to continue being involved. I've kind of shifted that mindset of having an imposter syndrome for not being a developer, and instead I'm looking at it in a way of, I did learn all of these tech skills and they're not going to waste, because since I do have those skills, I'm able to apply them to this other thing that I'm building, and I'm able to do it well and confidently. That being said, I'm very excited for continuing to create content and continuing to make videos to help other people who are interested in learning to code. I'm thankful that if you even stuck around for this long, that you watched this video. If you've been following me for a while, thank you for coming back and continuing to watch my videos. I actually do have a ton of video ideas scripted out that I will be releasing over time. But if you want to hear about anything in particular, then please leave a comment. If you're curious more behind the scenes, follow me on TikTok and Instagram. Or if you want to check out what it is that I'm building and what it is that I'm up to, then go check out the links in my bio, or I'll leave them in the description. Ciao.